kids there were less than friendly. Some were just put off, but some other ones got in the face and started shoving and pushing. Well, one day, some fifth graders came along, fifth grade boys, and started yelling at me, "There he is, you don't belong here, get out of here, we don't want you here," in other words. And one of the boys picked up a bat or a stick, I don't know what it was, and started to swing at me towards my head. And I put up my hand to stop it, and he hit me in the chest, knocked me down, and there happened to be, I don't remember what it was, a stick or a bat. I just grabbed that thing, came up, swinging for his head, but because I was only about up to here on him, I clipped his shoulder, clipped his head, and he went, "Ah!" And the other boys said, "You all right? Well, let's get out of here, leave that blankety-blank kid alone." Then it occurred to me afterwards, nobody bothered me anymore. I could do what I wanted. Would I go where I wanted? That was a nice feeling. Well, a couple of years later, I was in fifth grade, and we started getting the same thing all over again. This time, it was getting more serious. I mean, we had some little fist fights, as fifth graders might do, had pushing around, yelling, "You don't belong here, get out of here." And then, I decided, wait a minute, I'm getting tired of this. I had seen in the movies warfare with siege castles, you know, the Middle Ages, there's a castle and there's a catapult. So I decided I'm making a catapult. And I got materials together and I made a catapult about that long, about that wide, had 4 wheels, it's about this high, had an arm on it with ropes. I made that thing, I pulled it back, wham! I could throw a rock. This was pretty good. That rock would go from here all the way to the parking lot. And then it occurred to me, what am I going to do? Walk around pulling a catapult? You don't think these things out as a 10-year-old or whatever a fifth grader is. I'm going, this isn't going to work. But I'd seen in the movies where these guys run up the tanks and they take Molotov cocktails and they throw it at the tank and boom, big explosion. So I got wine bottles, whiskey bottles, I got gasoline. I don't know where I got the gasoline from, but I got gasoline, cloths and matches, and I started practicing by an old building and filled the bottle up with gasoline, put the cloth in, and I lit the thing, and I'm nervous, and I look at the wall, I take this thing, and I go, wham! And I'm expecting a big explosion, and the bottle just hit the wall, slid down, the gasoline comes out, and puts out the flame. So I tried another bottle, and I threw it, waiting for a big explosion, and the bottle broke, and the gasoline dribbled down the wall, and put out the flame. No matter what I did, full bottle, partial bottle, almost empty bottle, I could never get this big explosion. To this day, I don't know how Molotov cocktails really work. The movies show it really works well. But then it occurred to me, what am I going to do? Walk around with a bottle in this pocket and a bottle in this pocket? And like I'm going to draw when I see these kids? And this isn't going to work. So I've been going to church. And you know the story, the little guy and the big guy? You've heard that story? Mm-hmm. The little guy and the big guy? Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a slingshot. So I got a piece of branch, put rubber bands around it, and pulled it back. Did they have rubber bands back then? I don't think so. But being a bit of a nerdy kid, maybe that's why I was being picked on also, a bit of a nerdy kid. I go to the library. I'm looking through these musty old books. And finally, there's a picture of a slingshot and a description how it worked. It was an old book. I remember that thing. So I made the slingshot, got some stones, and then I started practicing. I was going around and around like this, and wham! And the rock would go that way, and the rock would go that way, and the rock would go that way. And once the rock went that way, and after a lot of trials, I couldn't get it to work. So then I tried maybe like this. And it would go up, I'd go down, and one hit me in the head. I couldn't get it to work. So in desperation, somehow, I pictured Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth going, you remember he pointed to the outfield like this? Well, I tried that. Wham! I started getting really good. I got so good with that slingshot, if I had a smooth round stone, remember the smooth round stone? I could hit a bottle half a football field away. I could hit a telephone pole a football field away. Well, one fall evening, just as it's getting dark and it's chilly out, I'm on the way back, and there a bunch of kids are, other kids in the 5th grade or whatever they were. They said, "There he is, get him!" And I knew this was going to turn into a fight. So they're yelling at me, and I got out my slingshot. Got that. Got out my smooth round stone, put it in. I looked at him carefully, and then I went wham! Hit one kid, bam! Right in the chest. Flattened him like a bowling pin. You know how a bowling pin goes blam and falls to the ground? He went bam! Right to the ground. The other kids stood around him and said, "He's dead! He's dead!" I couldn't stop shaking. Literally, I couldn't stop shaking. And then I thought, well, if I killed one, I'm in trouble. I may as well kill another. So I get another stone out, and I'm getting ready. And then this kid gets up, and they start saying, "Yeah, well, let's get out of here. We don't need him anymore." And they said some other words, you know, waving arms at me. And then I realized, if I don't stand up for myself, nobody else will, and nobody else cares. But there's a second part to the story, and I'll tell you that second part, which is the moral of the story, which is part 2, which is in that speech manual, which is the moral of the story. Because this continues on, and I think you'll find that a bit comical and very interesting. Madam Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you.